Welcome back, everyone, and I'm here again with SBR contributor Jordan Sharp. And today we're going to be talking about how those odds have been acting up for the game between the Miami Dolphins and the New York Jets. How you doing today, Jordan, man?
I'm doing good, Dax. Thanks, man.
All righty, so the bookmakers opened this one up favoring the Dolphins at -5.5. Obviously, that line went all the way up to -7 when the news came out that Geno was going to start, which Rex Ryan actually said it was a Jets decision. Anyways, the Dolphins are 6-5 straight up, and obviously they're winning and paying us because they're 7-4 against the spread. We know the Jets suck, so they're 2-9 straight up, 2-8-1 against the spread. Geno Smith formula doesn't work. The Michael Vick formula doesn't work. The Chris Johnson formula doesn't work at the running game. They got really nothing going for them but that defense, man. I mean, the way that the Dolphins have been playing and the way that they played against the Broncos, I'm all over that. 7s, 10s, whatever they want to put that line. I love the Dolphins in this case, even if they're going to East Rutherford, man. But what do you think?
All right, I agree with you. So let's play the game. How many points would it take for you to take points with Geno Smith and the Jets at home here?
Ew-wee, man. The thing is that, I don't know, man. Maybe 17 probably. I'm going to be like a college game. I'm going to see this as a college game, man. The way that Geno's been playing, he's just, completely sucking. Maybe I'd consider taking them, a couple touchdowns and a field goal, but I don't know, man. That's just too much, man. Even though with that, I think that the Dolphins are just going to fly all over them, man. I mean, really, what they've shown so far and how they've been playing offensively and defensively, that balance that they have, they're starting to look like a real contending team, man. I mean, look, they're right behind the Patriots and on. They're actually, vouching for that spot. I think that if right now we're looking at the Dolphins at -7, that's just a steal for me, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Dolphins are a team last year that you thought were going to come on and really, start to, finally make that playoff push, and then they just collapsed late in the season in week 16 and 17 and didn't even score a touchdown those 2 weeks. So I am still a little weary of the Dolphins just with that in mind because I was really high on them last year, both preseason and during the year, and then they just completely let me down after, a somewhat solid season. Starting to play a little bit better now, as you said, really starting to look like a confident football team, and Tannehill has really started to pick up his play and, manage the game a little bit better, limit his turnovers. So, I agree with you. Dolphins -7 is absolutely a good play this year. They've already won their only game this season as a road favorite, haven't lost this year, so in that spot, only have had one game like that. But the Jets, man, with Geno Smith starting and with word that he's probably going to start the rest of the year, I think that's just a big fade sign written all over the Jets.
Yep. I completely agree, man. I mean, really, I want to give the benefit of the doubt to Geno because, hell, look at what Mark Sanchez has been doing over at the Eagles, man. I'm definitely believing that Rex Ryan is the dude that's causing all this, turmoil and just making these players look bad. I think that once Rex is out the picture, maybe the Jets might start to pick up. Now, I did hear that Michael Vick wanted to continue playing maybe for another year. Do you think he's going to be back with the Jets in that case, man?
It's possible. I think a lot of it depends on how Geno Smith looks the rest of this year, though, to tell you the truth. I mean, they wouldn't mind having him back, as kind of a bridge quarterback, but like you said, he really didn't show too much. He had some flashes, really, but there's a reason they're going back to Geno Smith here. So, I think he has somewhere that he will work next year in the NFL. I think regardless of whether he's with the Jets or not. But it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of it depends on what Geno Smith looks like these last 4 games, though.
How about this? Considering the fact that RG3 might be going out the doors in Washington, do you think that they might bring in Vick to play with Deshaun Jackson again?
I really hadn't thought about that, but that's actually interesting to think that the Redskins could do that. They would love Michael Vick in Washington, D.C. I obviously live in the area, and then they would just go nuts over Michael Vick playing in a Redskins uniform. So, and that's a team that really just fails at every PR move. I mean, they literally put out a screenshot on Twitter the other day that says Happy Thanksgiving from the Redskins without even thinking about whether or not that would bring up any sort of horrible feelings considering the real history of Thanksgiving in this country. The Redskins are just ridiculous, and they could use any positive press they could get. And bringing on Michael Vick, I think, would bring a lot of good feelings to this town. So that's actually an interesting note if the Jets do let him go. But then once again, if Geno Smith just absolutely just shits the bricks, so to speak, over the last 4 weeks, they could be like, hey, Michael, do you want to come back for another year? We could use you. So, it really depends a lot on what Geno Smith does. But yeah, I could definitely see Vick coming to Washington for a year or so next year.
All right, and how about this one? Do you think the Jets are going to draft a quarterback, man?
Can they afford not to? I think it's the question here. But who are they? Do you think they want to suffer through another year of Geno Smith with how that defense is playing and how many good skill players they have on the offensive side of the ball? I mean, let's be honest. Their offensive line is pretty good. Yeah. With bringing on Harvin, they got Harvin and Decker, which is a great 1-2 punch at receiver. Yeah. They have at least a solid running game if they could get some run blocking from that offensive line and Chris Johnson and Chris Ivory.
Chris Ivory the most. Chris Ivory. Because Johnson, I don't think so, man. Johnson lost his wheels.
Yeah, no, Chris Johnson, he's looking like he's almost done, but at least he can give you some as a solid third down back in the NFL. Still, he can still catch some passes, and he's not much of a runner anymore these days. But yeah, I mean, they have everything they need to be at least a 500 or better football team, except a quarterback. I mean, unless they're going to be out there trying to trade for somebody. I would not be shocked at all to see them draft a quarterback, and it's probably going to be pretty early with the way their season's been going.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And I'm definitely sure that this is Rex's last year, man. I couldn't fathom to see him, stay one more year. I mean, the management would be completely boneheaded to keep him on an extra year. I think that with an addition of a better quarterback and a much better head coach, that team could probably have potential, And then, like you said, they got Decker and they got Harvin. That 1-2 punch that they have right there, that should be enough for that team. All they need is a good quarterback.
They should absolutely be a better team right now than they are. It's just it's really sad to see for Jets fans, and I know some that are just they're like they're just like Geno Smith, just fade the Jets, man.
Definitely. All right, Jordan, man. As always, it's a pleasure talking football with you, and I look forward to doing this again next week, brother.
All right, thanks, Dax.
No problem. For SBR Picks, this is Dax Floyd.
The SBR Network offers free sports picks and game breakdowns, big money free betting contests year-round, a real-time Vegas-style odds monitoring service, and much more. So come see for yourself. To stay updated on SBR news and promotions, follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and do be sure to subscribe to the Sportsbook Review YouTube channel to catch all our daily sports shows.